Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right 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 now.
Because it's time to write now.
Welcome.
Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.
All right. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys can see this. The studio is frozen on my end. So once again, what a fun learning experience with this new live stream studio. Okay. So it looks like you guys can see me. Yeah, weird. I'm like the studio itself on this live stream studio is frozen. So I'm like, all right, give me just a sec. All right, perfect. You know what? Always so much fun. Everyone, welcome to the community. Welcome to a Monday WriteNow Update stream. I am your host, Kaufman, and we're keeping these Mondays super casual because we are always going to be thinking about what's going on with the community, what we're focused on, and any exciting updates. I would love to hear how's everyone doing today. Drop a comment. I see I am way behind in the chat, so I love seeing everybody here already. I feel like I hop into it and I'm like, all right, I have to catch up with the chat. Great to see all y'all. Calvin, welcome to the stream, my friend. Great to see you. I see Adrian, Courtney. Absolutely love having you guys. Lysandra, welcome. And we have a really exciting announcement today as well. So we have a huge announcement, a huge update, because we are ready to launch our brand new community event. Now, before we get into the community event, let me just see. I want to welcome everyone. ML, good to see you in here, my friend. Welcome. Mass Toaster, what's up? Mass Toaster in the house. I thought I was late, but I guess not. You're like, nope, Kaufman only started 6 minutes late today. So, I'm working on my lack of tardiness, slowly but surely, one stream at a time. So for today's stream, we're going to be announcing and talking about our brand new community event. I am super stoked about it. We gave a little bit of a sneak peek last week when I brought Courtney onto the stream, and we have a couple of our co-hosts here who are excited for us to be able to talk about and announce this brand new community event. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is we're going to introduce each of our co-hosts who are going to be helping to bring this brand new community event, Read Now, to life. So let me bring everyone up to the stage and welcome, my friends. Good to have everybody here. I was like, make sure that everyone's not muted.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you for having us.
I am I'm excited to be able to officially introduce each of our co-hosts who are going to be helping, collaborating, and bringing this Read Now book club to life. So I know everyone's familiar with me, obviously, and I know you guys probably recognize some of these faces, but I'll let each of you guys do your intro. Who are you? And why a book club for you? What interested you about a book club? I'll kick it over to you, Courtney.
Well, just a crazy reader. Why not branch out into some more genres? And I love the community and want to help you and grow with everybody around here.
Love it. Yep, Laura. Yep.
I'm Lornettles, and I mostly read and write horror, so I think this will be a nice way to expand my horizons. And as you all know, the best way to kit bash ideas is to glean from the best. So you can't find the best unless you read widely. So
Ain't that the truth? Which is why I need to get caught up with the book club, because I need to be doing more reading. And hopefully I'll be learning from reading from the best with you guys. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Laura and Adrian.
Hey, Adrian Santiago here, sci-fi fantasy for adults writer, and I've always loved reading, and I'm a creature of habit, and if I don't have something in my rotation, in my daily routine, making it a habit, then it kind of just disappears. So reading disappears for me a lot when I'm in the middle of writing a big novel, for example, as I am now. But with my day job being what it is and me finally being in a comfortable place there, I can listen to audiobooks all day long now. So I made a goal for 2025. I'm reading 52 books in 2025, a book a week. And excuse me. And so far, I'm like a week or two ahead of schedule. So I'm doing great. Uh, and that's just on audiobooks while at work. But now I'm also implementing into habit reading in bed before I go to sleep. I'm reading. I'm either on my ebook or I'm reading a physical copy. So there's a spot right there for a book club book every month. I'm expanding all of my reading horizons this year. I'm reading all kinds of new stuff I've never read before. I read my first Stephen King book this year. I read Hunger Games for the first time, something I thought I would never in my life read. I loved it and loved it so much I dove into the second one. So new books, yay, let's do it. Book club, gimme.
I love that. Thank you so much, Adrian. And Miss Tiara.
Hello, everybody. I hope I have an echo again suddenly. I don't know what's
You
going
are
on, so hopefully I'm
you're all
not.
good. We can hear
Okay,
you.
cool.
Mhm.
But yes, I'm Tiara, and I am super excited to do this. I have been trying to get more into reading for like 3 years now. I'm always like, I'm gonna read more this year. New Year's resolution, let's read more, and then maybe I'll read one extra book that year. So like, yeah, I do love reading and I obviously love writing. I just haven't put the effort into doing it. So I'm excited to be doing it.
Yay. Tiara, I'm literally right there with you. I have been so focused on the writing and the business and all the other things. So I'm like, okay, if there's one thing I learned from live streaming for a year, it's I did it to hold myself accountable because like if I'm doing the live stream, I'm obviously going to be writing and it's worked for me. So now I'm like, okay, if I'm committing myself to a book club, I'm going to be more encouraged to be reading more consistently, especially with each of you guys. So thank you guys all for joining me. I'm very, very excited to get into it. What we're going to do is we're going to hop into the logistics of the book club and how you, the community, can become a member, how you can become a book club member. It's going to be absolutely free. And we're going to be highlighting it's the focus of it is for us to be able to highlight indie authors while still being able to explore outside of our reading horizon, new books, read new books. So that's going to be the thing. I would love to hear for anyone who's in the chat. Are you a reader? What types of books do you read? Are you an avid reader? Do you not read at all? What type of reader do you consider yourself? Drop it down in the chat. I would love to hear from you guys. So getting right into it, let me bring up the screen share. All right. And what we'll do, because I'm so excited to be able to announce and show our design. Perfect. All right, here we go. So I got this here. And perfect. Got everyone here on screen with me. So this is the exciting new logo design I just created for the book club. Nope. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So this is for the Read Now Book Club, which is our brand new community event, which is designed to help encourage writers to read just a little bit more. I know we're all really trying to focus on, of course, getting our stuff written. We absolutely want to be able to write keep writing and not take away from the writing experience, but we wanted to find a place where we could also introduce reading to help incentivize that, because reading makes us better writers. When I would love to hear from the rest of you guys, Courtney, Laura, Adrian, Tiara, what were your guys when we were talking about like this idea for this Read Now book club? What did you kind of envision, or what was like your original idea for it, for like what a book club could be? I'd love to hear.
If I may, I hosted a book club of my own on my website, on my YouTube channel, rather. Excuse me. And the whole premise of that one was we called it Tuber Book Club, and the premise was that we read books written by other author tubers.
Mm-hmm.
So we would each panelist, each co-host would, at the end of every month, we would pitch our nominee. Each of us had a nominee. I would like to read this book. I would like to read this book,
Mm-hmm.
and here's why. And so we would then put the poll up, and the community would vote on the book, and it made for a completely different genre every month. We had absolutely no like rules other than you have to be an author tuber and it's a novel that we can read. You know, like no like short story collections, but novels. And so it was awesome, man. Like we read a whole bunch of books that we never would have read otherwise, and met a whole bunch of cool new author tubers that we never would have heard of otherwise, and it was, you know, random enough that it was always something fresh, always something new. Even if certain people in the panel didn't like a particular book, other ones were loving it, and it was true for every single book. Like, and sometimes we were all loving it, but we were never all not enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was always somebody loving something about it. And different people would like different chapters more. Like you know, like somebody would be in love with a chapter and somebody else was like, this was the worst one in the whole book. And we're like, why? And we would battle it out. It was great. So I when you suggested a book club, that was what I was remembering, because we haven't done it in a while, and I was just like, it would be nice to you know, jump back in with a bunch of other writers and readers, and read some indie books that we wouldn't read otherwise, and see what happens. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think because each of you guys have had experience, especially with books, to varying extent, especially with like book clubs, I was like, yes, let's bring that, because I think there's so many possibilities for what this book club could be, and I think that's definitely to be commended. It
Yeah.
really is. I can definitely tell in the chat too. I know we have some avid readers, some other avid readers in the community. I know Lynn was like, I read about 100 books a year, primarily paranormal romance, some science fiction. And Calvin, you're kind of with us. You're like, I'm guilty of pushing off my reading and focusing on writing, trying to read and listen to Fourth Wing. Yeah, and I mean, I still want to keep reading Fourth Wing as well. I mean, I don't think it's the best fantasy book that I've ever read, but I'm intrigued enough by the plot, and clearly it's the mainstream book for sure.
That one's on my list for this year. I haven't read it yet though.
Yeah, I know, because the new one just came out, I believe.
I'm not in a hurry. I got a lot of books to read.
Let's see. Valerie was like, fantasy author trying to get back into reading again, reading whatever catches my fancy. ML, you're also like, I listen to audiobooks more now, but I love new books. Yep. And we definitely have, I'm an audiobook listener as well. So I know it kind of mixes it up a little bit.
I like this whole like immersive reading thing, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
putting on the audiobook, having the ebook or the paperback in front of me, and just like
Mm-hmm.
diving into it like full. And if the audiobook is produced enough, like I was
Mm-hmm.
listening to Dune, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a full cast, not the movie cast, but a full cast. Every character has an actor for it. And the narrator is separate from everyone else. There's
Mm-hmm.
always like sound in the background, like you can hear like almost like the echo of the spaceship. Like there's always like mood throughout it. It's so well done that I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like immersed in it. It's crazy.
Oh man, I love that. What about the rest of you guys? How are you guys feeling about just book clubs in general?
So I've never done a book club before, but like I feel like I'm really excited to do it. I've always felt a little intimidated by book clubs because I'm like, I take my time when I read. I'll put it down and then I'll pick it back up and I'll put it down. So it gives me like a kick in the butt to actually read. So
And I
I'm
feel like we're.
sorry.
No, I got for it, Courtney. What were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say I'm almost the exact same way, but the opposite. Because I've never been a part of a book club, but I read so fast that like I have no one to talk to about the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so like by the time people get to where I'm at the end of the book. And I don't really
Or
always
you're like
remember.
3 books down, like you're somewhere
Yeah.
else entirely.
Yeah. So it's like I like the way that we set up this book club because
Mm-hmm.
there might be a way for us fast readers to still be involved and the slow readers to not feel like we're pushing you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm in another book club at the. I'm not like a co-host or anything. I'm just a part of it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as a member. And it's cool because you'll have it's a very big one, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's one of these situations where you'll have a room for folks to talk about it who have already read it, and another room for those who are reading along, and so you'll have so many people who have read it many times even, and so like their input in that particular, you know, like isolated space is always really cool to like go in there and like see what everybody's thoughts are on it once you've read it. But
Mm-hmm.
you can also have the experience along the way, like wherever you are there's something for you.
Laura, what about you? I know with all of us, I know you have some extraordinarily extreme book club experience to bring to the table. I was like, when you told us about this, like some of these crazy book clubs you've been in, I'm like, wow, I feel like that's like D&D book club for nerds, which I love.
So I have been participating in a few for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So since like 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend, the Hex Library YouTube channel, who does Summer Scare Readathon. So like
Mm-hmm.
we'll read horror books in July or whenever. But then there are also the more intense readathons that I've been in part of, like the Aurelia Magical Academy readathon, where
Mm-hmm.
you come up with your character who's going to a magical academy and has a syllabus where you have to read certain
Mm-hmm.
prompts and get certain prompt numbers to get grades in these classes so that
Mm-hmm.
you can graduate and get these magical abilities and whatever. So there's some crazy intense
Mm-hmm.
ones, but I've also been a co-host for book clubs, like the Nostalgia Train Book Club, where I co-hosted the one where we did Steinoween. So we just read R.L. Stein all October.
Aw.
So
Who doesn't love a month of R.L. Stein? Yep.
yeah. So I was also a co-host for Camp Seasonathon one year.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was really cool because the books we were reading, the creator of the readathon would be in contact with the author and we would have an author interview every time we read one of their books.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked that aspect of that one. So
That's
not
very,
only
very
did we
cool.
read their book, we got to interrogate them. Like, how did you come up with this? Help
Yeah,
me.
on Tuber Book Club we did the same thing, especially with it being specifically author tubers.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely did we run into one who didn't want to do the interview. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
that's
most authors like talking about their books.
yeah.
Like I think
Generally,
most
like
of them do.
if they can fit it in their schedule, they're going to do it. And you know,
True, true,
like
true.
especially depending on how big the audience is.
Mm-hmm.
But in either case, it was always good to like pick their brains because how often do you have not just the author in front of you to ask questions, but you are reading and or just read the
Mm-hmm.
book. It is fresh in here, so all your questions are fresh in there. Like you can really ask some
Mm-hmm.
really interesting questions. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And also the authors tend to get excited about it and they'll watch the streams of us discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll participate in the chat, you know, and that was really fun. Like I it was really hard for me to not like participate when they were doing my book on my channel. So like I kept like jumping in with like answers that they didn't ask for. And I'm just like, oh, stop it. Like, you know, it's fun. It's fun for
Yeah.
everybody. It's fun for the author, fun for the community. Um, so that's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to here. You know, the author interviews and their interaction with the community. That's going to be fun.
I love that. You're speaking of author interviews. It's like we're going to be inviting the author
Yay,
to speak
yay.
with us. So I think that's actually the perfect segue to let's chat about what we have in store for the book club. So let me pull it up on my end. I was like, sometimes Kaufman is prepared and sometimes he is not. So what we're going to do next, we're going to go through what this book club will look like step by step. So that way, anybody who wants to be involved, you guys can see what the format is and how the Read Now book club is going to stand out from the other formats out there. All right. And let's see what we got here. So, as you guys can see, we've given you a handy dandy how does the book club work. So what we'll do, we'll go over each of the steps and we'll kind of talk through it. And if anybody in the community, if you have questions, drop your questions in the chat. We would love to help answer them and talk through them. So everybody knows we're going to be officially launching the first book. We will be starting the Read Now book club officially March 1st, which is literally this coming week. So we're going to be launching it this Saturday, and readers are going to have a full month to be able to go over the book. So starting with the top, what we've done differently with the first month is we've already determined the book, so that way we could get the ball rolling. But then this is how the format's going to work moving forward, because we want you guys to be involved in deciding which books we're going to read and go through. So Adrian, I'll kick it off to you. You're going to introduce each of the steps and we'll kind of talk through them.
Yeah, cool. So the first thing that we're going to do after this first book is the community, the co-hosts here on the panel will pick the next genre. We will decide that amongst ourselves. It's the one thing that we get to pick every month, and then from that genre we move on to the second. So anything regarding the first step, which is picking the genre, how are we going to be going about that?
And I think the reason that we went with that was because there's going to be options for people to vote, but we want to make sure it's fair and that we're bouncing around between different genres. So that way we can expand our horizons as writers, right? Because ultimately, this is a book club for writers. And as writers, we want to make sure that what we're reading helps push us in new styles, new genres, and new elements. Some genres are going to be right up your alley. Some genres might not be.
But you're
But
going to
even
learn it the hard way. We're all going to find out.
exactly. After having gone through well over 200 critique stories throughout this live stream in this past year, I have learned to love almost all genres because I'm
Same.
focused on the character journey.
See, that's the thing. I can echo that, but it's not. And yes, I love character, but it's not just that. It's the fact that every every kind of book there is, every genre, even the ones that take place in our world, even in our time, even with our technology, they all involve everything that every other book does, including world building and,
Mhm.
and like backstories and I love reading, I love writing, and so I look for all that stuff in everything new that I read. Whether I'm reading high fantasy or a romance novel, I'm looking for the same stuff.
Mhm.
Like the same things that make a great story are in all of these things. So I'm genre schmandra. Like, just give me whatever. Like, let's
It's just
go.
a different flavor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and
Roy.
Let's dive in and get into all three Neapolitans. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get all the corners.
For you guys who are avid readers, are you guys used to reading in different genres? Because I know like Courtney, Laura, Adrian too. Like I know you guys read a lot of books.
I do
Do you like push yourself out of your comfort zone ever? Because like you guys read them at such a high volume.
I have majority in probably I would say like one category, but I do branch out a little bit. If I
Mm-hmm.
find a book cover I like with a blurb that matches, I'll dive in. But there have been like some that have been suggested to me that are not like necessarily in my category, and I've just like, I mean, they're sitting on my bookshelf, but they're like DNF'd 100%. So like it's a hit or miss.
Okay, so it kind of just depends on the genre of book. All right,
Well,
awesome.
it doesn't depend on the genre. It depends on the writing style.
So
And
you guys
that's what I
will you usually like try out the first chapter, and then if that style you like it, you'll keep reading.
Court of the Vampire Queens, I made it all the way to the halfway through the book, and I just couldn't anymore.
Really?
And then Haunting Adeline, I couldn't make it past the first page.
Interesting.
And those
I
are
couldn't
like
make it past the
everybody
first
suggests
page of
them,
Fourth Wing.
everybody talks about them, and I just couldn't.
So here's what I'll say about that. Here's what I'm learning about that because I love reading, but I used to not have much time for it, and now I'm reading way more than I used to.
Mhm.
Still, my numbers are baby numbers compared to most, but the point is that excuse me, in reading all these new genres and all these new kinds of books, I'm finding that there are some that I just can't get through, and I know that they're highly regarded works that most people have very good things to say about them, and I'm not enjoying it, so I know something's off with me in the book in this time in this place, and maybe it's just not the right time for me to read this book right now, and I put it aside, not like I'm not gonna finish this book ever, but like I'll come back to it some other day. I started Stephen King Dark Tower, The Gunslinger, immediately after finishing Shawshank Redemption. That was a mistake. I got, I'm like 4 or 5 chapters into Gunslinger, and I'm like, this is not for me right now, man. Like I can't read this book right now. And I set it aside. I'll go back to it someday, but right now it's just not for me, man. Like, so, and that's typically the kind of thing that I would love. Are you kidding me? A gunslinger through like a fantasy world with ties to a real world? Like, sign me up. Like, that sounds great. And I'm just not vibing with it, man. So like, like maybe it's just not right now, and maybe it'll be right later.
Yeah.
I said right now.
I've also learned that if you're in a reading slump, don't find a new book. Read an old favorite
Mm,
so that you don't ruin a book that is possibly a great book that you would love
it's good
because
advice.
you're in a slump.
A little
Go back to a
paraphrase.
favorite, be reminded of why you love it, and then read a new book.
Yeah.
Awesome. And let's go into step 2. So once we've determined a genre, what's that next step look like?
All right. So then at that point, the community is going to suggest books within that genre. Whatever genre we've chosen, the community is going to pick books from the indie writing community to read in that genre for that month.
And I like that you said the indie community.
Yeah, like we're trying to focus
So
on
we're not going to be suggesting Fourth Wing or books like Fourth Wing, not because of the material, but because that author doesn't need help in selling more books.
yeah. We're trying to help each other out here. It's going to be fun.
I know when we were talking about this originally, I know the thing that everybody had in common was everyone wanted to support indie authors.
For sure. Number 3?
Yes. So then and I think the thing that comes to mind is what's going to be considered indie and then what's not going to be considered indie. Because
Okay.
I could see some writers or some community members suggesting certain books. But then like, okay, well, is that an indie book or is it not an indie book? So
I think that also goes under our other criteria, though. The under $10 for an ebook, and I don't remember the word count that we said, but I think it was like under 145,000 to keep the books doable for a month.
That sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah. I mean, I always go by the reviews numbers, like if they have 14 reviews, that's an indie author. You know what I mean? Like they like me, I have 14 reviews. I could use some new reviews. Review my book, people. Yeah. Like if they have a couple thousand reviews, they don't need the publicity. They got it. They're good. They're good.
Yeah. And I mean, if they're published by a other than like an indie publishing company, if they're published by one of the, what do they call it? The big five,
Mhm.
it's really not what we're going for.
Yeah, of
It can be
course.
your
And I think
favorite book
that
and you can suggest it. I'm just saying that we're not going to choose that.
and Valerie, well, actually, we had some good call outs. So Lena said 145K is long. I think when we were talking about word count lengths, I think we landed on 150 or 145 at a max,
Yeah,
with the
that's
goal in the
no
range
higher.
being probably about the 90 to 120K range, I think is the average goal for the reader. So it's not not achievable. But I know a lot of writers in the community write longer books. Like, I mean, you guys know me, right? My book's probably going to be 150K, and we don't want to exclude writers from the community because their books are slightly over that. Now, if somebody's written like a 200 to 300K word book, we might not have the time for that. So I think 150, that 145, 150 is kind of the max, but we're really going to try to aim for that like 90 to 120K
Yeah,
word.
I wrote it in the chat. That number is a limit, not a goal. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to be 147
Exactly. And
every
when
time.
we post the area for people to suggest books, we'll relist the word count, the maximum, the minimum, these details for everyone, so that way they can suggest books accordingly.
All right.
And then we also had another great question here. Valerie said, when it comes to suggesting books, would you accept self promo books, as in I suggest my book, depending on the agreed upon genre?
Hey, if it,
I think that's an amazing question.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
When do you guys want to take that?
I mean, in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. That's what we're doing here. If your book fits the genre of that month, go for it. Why not? Absolutely. Sell, 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 sell. Go for it.
Yeah, I think that like embodies what we really want to do. We want to support everybody, and the Right Now community is a big part of us. And while we cannot guarantee that every month will be a Right Now read like author, what we can guarantee is that we want Right Now authors to submit within the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I know Tiara just popped out because she was in the middle of taking care of some stuff. So Tiara will be joining us later this month when we come back for our next round of book club stuff.
Cool.
But that was a great question, and let's move right along. So step number 3.
Step number 3 is that among the suggestions from the community, the co-hosts on the screen here will choose the final nominees that will make
Mm-hmm.
up the poll for everyone to vote on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think this one's pretty straightforward. I think we want everybody to be able to suggest a range of books within the selected genre, and then each of the co-hosts, so that way we can make this as fair as possible. Each of our 5 to 6 co-hosts will each choose a book, and then this will take us into the 4th step.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. And I said, what was that? The community votes on 6 books. Essentially, we'll have those like final books be based on each book chosen by a co-host out of what was suggested by the community.
All right. And then once
Mm-hmm.
all 6 books are on the poll, you guys vote on them. The winner gets read, and that's number 5. We all read the book. We'll have
Mm-hmm.
a place to discuss it as we're reading it. And that's going to be most of the fun right there is everybody, freaking out at what the character did and why would they do that? Like,
Mm-hmm. And the format of this is that we'll probably start like the genre and the voting leading up to the last week of the month. So it'll probably give about a week to determine that. And that way we can announce the book that we're doing for the month on the first, or on the beginning of the month, the earliest stream at the beginning of the month. And yeah, and then throughout the month, that gives everyone a full month to be able to read the book. And then at the end, we'll have that stream. So that way we can all discuss and talk about all the things we liked, didn't like, wanted to like, looking forward to, and all that jazz.
Hated to love, love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And pushing reviews. We're gonna push reviews. We want you,
Mm-hmm.
like, as a terrible reader myself who always
Mm-hmm.
forgets to go back and review
Mm-hmm.
our end of the month discussion, we're gonna be really convincing y'all to support the author by putting your words out there. Like, review the book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's free 99.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And we're definitely, absolutely, what Courtney said, we're definitely going to incentivize reviews. And we'll incorporate that into the live stream at the end of the month. We'll make sure to talk about reviews as well, because we think it's so important to support fellow authors. Whenever you publish your book, you're going to need reviews from other people as well. So that's always such a great way to support. Absolutely. And I know that was such a huge thing that we all agreed on, like early on in developing this process. So in terms of some of the logistics of it, I'll be setting up the Discord channel itself to discuss the book. And I'll have that set up. What is it? I'll be setting that up sometime this week. So that way it will be ready to launch on the 1st. Which the 1st is this Saturday. So that way we'll have a book channel, a Read Now book club channel, which is specific to this book club, where we'll give a couple of different ways for people to be able to talk about the book, and then an area for voting. So make sure that if you're not already, you're subscribed to the WriteNow Discord channel. So that way you'll be able to be involved in the conversation. And then let's see, with the interview, Courtney, do you want to talk through the interview process of it?
Yeah, so we have it set up that we would like to do an interview with the author about halfway through the month, just to keep people engaged in reading, but you haven't finished it yet, so you can ask questions about their process. We have it so that if an author provides their ebook for free, they get the interview to get exposure, get their word out there, get their book out there, and possibly gain more readers.
Exactly. And I think it will be really cool to be able to offer the book as a free ebook inclusion for the community. And then remind me again how long we're going to be offering that for.
I think 3 days. I think 3 days is enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we are supporting the underdog. Like we want to help the little. So I don't want to like make it free for too long. But I think 3 days is good. But I don't know Amazon's minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I think the minimum is 1 day and the maximum is 5 days.
Yeah, so I think 3 days works.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, this is a way to support the community for people who might be a little short on funds, but still want to be involved in the book club experience. Yeah. Or for those who are like, hey, I'm just want to support the author and go purchase the book. So both of those will be an option. Absolutely. And then the interview portion is going to be super cool. So we will be interviewing the author halfway through the month. I know, Adrian, this is kind of what you were starting to talk about as well, was talk about interviewing authors.
Yeah, no, that was always one of the best parts. Like we had ours at the on the last stream of the month. So we're doing this one halfway through. The one that I used to do, we used to do at the end, so everyone had read the book by that point. So we were able to go kind of into spoiler territory with the author. In this one, it'll be different. It'll be more like you're still immersed in his world when you get to talk to him. So that's going to be something that I'm looking forward. It's going to be a very different experience with the interview. I'm looking forward to see how that changes the kinds of questions that people ask. Because generally, once you've finished reading it, a lot of the questions to the author are, "Hey, what's coming up down the line? Why should I buy the next book?" But like, I'm interested in seeing what kind of questions we get when we're still in the book. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a whole different perspective for the internet for the interview.
And Laura, I'm curious, did you guys do any types of author interviews in your book clubs you've been involved with?
Yes.
You did interviews as well. Mhm.
Yeah, it was the last stream. So we would have back-to-back streams of,
Mhm.
well, it was 3 back-to-back streams. It was the let's talk our feelings, let's interview the author, and then let's do a party after party stream.
Oh, nice.
So it was a long
I
day.
like that you separated the let's talk our feelings
Yeah.
to the author interview and then let's just party.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's important to get those feelings out first.
Mhm.
You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings during the interview. Why would you kill him? He was so nice.
I feel
Why
like
would
that's
you
why
kill
we
all
did
the
the
characters
author.
at the end?
Yeah,
All my favorite characters are dead, you bastard.
yeah. I feel like that's why we did the author interview at the midway to like keep people reading, and two, because like the author can decide if they want to come to the discussion stream, because like I think that, as writers, like we want people to be brutally honest, and everyone knows that when I do a critique show, I want you to roast me. So like, like let's just be honest with our critiques, and like if you don't want to read
Mhm.
it, you don't have to, or if you don't like want to be a part of the discussion, you don't want to hear the bad, like you're not at a mental state to hear all that bad feedback, or
Mhm.
it could be great, it could be bad. Like I'm just gonna go with the negative here because like that's not what you want to listen to. Then like they don't have to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interview also lets us highlight the author and kind of highlight their journey through an interview style discussion in the middle of the month. While as the end of the month stream allows us to focus not on the author, but on the text, on the
Yeah.
story, on what it means to be a writer, right? So for right now, a writing community,
Like it.
like that's what it's about as a writer. We want to learn from things that work from other authors and things that don't work. So that way we can improve our own writing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Well said.
Excellent. So I feel pretty good about that. Let's see. In terms of that layout, was there anything else that you guys think that we should touch upon? I think we'll go into how people can be members next.
And then we should probably announce what book it is.
Oh wait. We should tell them what book we're doing.
Maybe.
Wait, you think we should do the book?
I
Let's
don't
do it now.
know.
I don't know. I mean, should they just like read our minds and guess what the first book should be?
Hold on,
They're
hold
not
on.
all Vulcans.
You remember in the Matrix when like Tank was supposed to teach Neo all of the like operations manual stuff, but he's like, that's boring. Let's start with jujitsu. Like you know what I mean? So like let's go ahead and get the book out there and then we'll get back to all the boring stuff.
Okay, I agree with that. Let's introduce the book. So I think that is a much better strategy. So let's announce the book and then we'll talk about how everyone can become members. So what about this? So what we're gonna do is we'll go over the member club responses. What I'm going to do is for anybody who wants to sign up to become a book club member, I'm going to drop the Google form link down in the chat so people can go check out the link as well. We'll review it after we announce the book, but this is how you can sign up to become a Read Now book club member. All right. So without further ado, I was like, oh wait, I think I actually have a drum roll. Wait, I was like, I think this. Woo! All right. So our first book, I was like, our very first book that we're going to be reading for the month of March is Deadcaster by our very own ML Claxon. So we're going to be reading book 1 of Deadcaster, which, let's see. So let me go through the blurb of it. As like, yes. So Deadcaster, when the Veil Between Worlds tore, nightmares spilled into reality. Vampires, hellhounds, and worse. Peaceful coexistence became a fragile illusion. Devin Edwin, Alan Durham, the black sheep of a prestigious wizarding family, is a failure. Or so they think. Branded weak by his ruthless mother, Devin hides a forbidden truth. His magic, drawn from the underworld, is powerful, mysterious, and feared. Darkness doesn't just live in monsters, it lives in people. When a college prank turns scandalous, political betrayal leaves Devin exiled to enemy warlock territory. Stripped of everything, Devin must harness the chaos of his death magic to survive and confront the vampire haunting his dreams. His search for answers becomes a dangerous bid for survival, where love could be a salvation or his undoing. This is perfect for fans of paranormal fantasy. This new adult tale explores magic, betrayal, and love in a broken, monstrous world. So, congratulations, ML. We are so, so excited to be able to focus and highlight your book for our first official month as the Read Now. Laura, I love that. that was
I had
great.
to do the sound effect with the drive-by.
I thought you were going to do like a Star Wars thing for a second of, you will read Deadcaster.
You will read this book.
This is the droid you're looking for.
Surprise.
Download it to my Kindle. It's good to go. We're ready.
Mhm.
I was down as you were reading. I was like, boom, bye.
Excellent.
Bought it.
So let me also drop the Amazon link, which for anybody who's in what is it, KU?
Yeah.
KDP.
Yeah,
Yeah, not KDP. Yeah, so for anybody who's in
Kindle Unlimited.
anybody who's in Kindle Unlimited, you can actually already get the book for free because it's part of the Kindle Unlimited library. So anybody who's already in it, like I know I'm in it, you would actually already get it for free. I'm going to drop the Amazon link down in the chat for anybody who wants to go check it out, pick up a copy now. We're announcing it now. We're officially kicking off we're announcing it a little early because we wanted to help encourage everybody to start looking at the book. Well, technically, we're starting the official first month on March 1st. We will announce the details in the weeks to come once the author interview with ML is set up. And then we will also announce the community stream at the end of the month when we get to all come back and discuss. Did we like it? Did we hate it? Did we love all of it and all the things in between? So that's going to be very cool. And I think officially kicking off March 1st, I'll be launching the Discord stuff. So that way, March 1st will be the official, like, okay, we can talk about it. Because maybe we've already had people reading it. Maybe some of you have already read the book. So some people might be able to get a head start on the conversation. Awesome. Are you guys looking forward to reading some paranormal fantasy over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, man, this will be my entry into the genre. So let's go. New stuff.
Adrian, have you not done paranormal fantasy before?
No, not really. I mean, there's always elements of paranormal stuff in like most fantasy that you read, ghosts or whatever. It is. But the genre specifically, no, I haven't. So this will be fun.
Mm-hmm. Courtney, Laura, what about you guys?
I read a lot of its sister
Mm-hmm.
genre, paranormal romance. So
yep. That
And I
makes
read
sense.
fantasy,
Vampires
so I'm
falling in
excited.
love.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how this fits in.
Yeah. I've read paranormal, like vampire romances, like A Dowry of Blood and stuff like that, which technically isn't a romance because, kind of death everywhere. But anyway, the first letter is like, sorry, I killed you. So anyway, yeah, so I've read that and I've read some fantasy, but I haven't read much paranormal fantasy, although the book I'm currently doing draft 2 of is paranormal urban fantasy vampire romance thing. A jig. So I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see if there's any romance in our paranormal fantasy here. I feel like there might be a little romance.
There might be.
I'm hopeful.
I'm a genre bender writer, so like I like when we get genre mixes like that. So paranormal fantasy, cool. I'm in.
Yes, I was like, it sounds like we get wizards, vampires, hellhounds. It's like such a mix of all those creature types. And I
in.
imagine much, much more. It's been a while since I've read this genre, but I know I always enjoyed it. And then I know that this is the first book of the series. And I believe ML has 3 books out. I think it is the 4th one out.
I don't know if it's out. I mean,
Yeah, because I believe that he launched either book 3 or book 4 of the series later last year, because I know a couple of the books of the series are out already. I just forgot how many of it were out. So yeah, it's definitely awesome. There's definitely a number of the books out in the series. So then for anybody who enjoys the first book, they're able to go right into the second one, which
So
is a
I
huge plus for readers.
I'm looking at it. It looks to me like he has a series of 3 books
Hmm.
that is different from this series. This looks like a new series. I'm only seeing the one from Deadcaster. The rest are the Changeling's
Mm.
Fate. So he does have 4 books out, but I think the
Hmm.
other ones are a different series.
Gotcha. Okay. Working on let's see, and we have ML right here. ML said working on second in this series. Yeah, okay, cool. So you're absolutely right. So
Yeah.
this is the first one of this series, and it sounds like ML will be coming out with the second one at some point. So very, very
Pretty
cool.
cool.
Um
I'm
Absolutely
working
no
on my
pressure.
second novel.
Yeah.
yeah, ML, no pressure. You only have to finish the book next month now. But
No.
Writing the first sequel is hard. I'm writing my first sequel, and it's hard. Like it's quite a challenge to like take characters that you already put through arcs and put them through new arcs. Like it's challenging. So
oh, I'm excited. I'm already thinking through my sequel and the character arcs,
yeah,
and I still need to finish the first book.
nice, nice. I'm only now like finding my balance with all the arcs. Starting to feel really confident in where I'm going with them, but it took a
Mhm.
while. I had to restart it like 3 or 4 times. It was rough.
Yeah, I think I've spent more time on rewriting on the second draft of Scarecrow than I had originally anticipated, but I don't know. I think I figured out all the character arcs for the series, so we'll see whether the series is 3 books or 20. I don't know.
Is what we do, man.
Awesome. So very excited about that. So once again, Deadcaster will be the book. We'll launch the Discord chat officially on Saturday, which is March 1st. We hope everyone will come join us. Once again, if you're a KU Unlimited or if you're a Kindle Unlimited member, you'll get it for free. We'll also make it free to the community for, I believe, 3 days.
um,
And
he can't remember until the
Kindle
fifth.
Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited.
oh, yes. So for Kindle Unlimited. Okay. Yep. Thank you for
Yeah.
that
So
clarification.
yeah, I do want to touch
Awesome.
a bit on Neil's comment though about he was saying that it was harder to talk if we know him so well. Um,
Mm, let's see. So
part
let's
of
see. Milt said,
Will it be harder to talk when we know them so well?
let's see. Will it be harder to talk when you know them so well? Of course, it'll be positive. ML's talented, just different. So this is actually a really great question. How do you guys feel about this?
I think that a part of the author submission forum that we've created,
Hmm.
I think we've touched a little bit on that
Hmm.
and have asked that like if you can't handle feedback, like if constructive criticism, if that's going to be an issue for you, then just please don't submit your book.
Hmm.
That like we want writers to grow, and the best
Hmm.
way to do that is to get feedback. So it is kind of like the critique group, but at a
Hmm.
more advanced level. And I think that if it's not your cup of tea, don't throw your
Yeah.
hat in.
So yeah, so like I agree with that. So like Nil, while community members are going to be obviously suggesting the book recommendations, and some I'm sure a lot of writers will suggest their own books, which is absolutely fine. When we commit to whichever book we're going to read, we're going to make sure to clarify the expectation from the author being involved, right? That they're aware that they may receive positive or negative feedback, or not negative, but just like constructive feedback about the book. So it's not like there's going to be a big surprise, right? Because it's always just expectations, right? If somebody goes into something and they're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this," that's different than, "Okay, I knew that some people might not like certain elements." And it's just clarifying it.
It's also very it's conducive to the kind of book club that this is. This is a
Mhm.
writers group, and the writers group is creating a book club. So most of the folks involved in this are going to be other writers.
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys. I can only speak for myself, but when I give somebody something, I want them to critique because I am in the editing process or whatever it is, or I'm writing my next book and I want to learn from that. Whatever it is, I'm giving it to them. I'm asking for their critique.
Mhm.
I expect that to come back full of red marks. I want them because every single red mark is an opportunity to make your work better.
Mhm.
It is not, you don't have to do any of them. It's still up to the author what advice he takes and what he doesn't, and
Mhm.
that's his business, and ours is just to voice our opinion, and it's going to be fun
Mhm.
because as writers, we are both readers and writers, and so we're going to be reacting to this thing as readers, but we're also going to be
Mhm.
analyzing it as writers, and so the feedback from us and the feedback from the community is going to be conducive to both of those
Mhm.
things. It's great. It's like a beta reader group. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. And then ML even voiced, I am like Courtney, roast me. There you go, Neil.
Hey, man, let
So,
me have it.
and I think we'll also be touching upon this. This is why we're separating the interview from the discussion. For one, that's another reason, right? So we can highlight the achievement of publishing a book, but then also look at it critically from a writing perspective. And I mean, everyone, you guys have, most of you here in the community have seen the story and critique streams that I've done. I've done over 200 stories. Have I ever said that a book sucked? No. I'm a little kinder. I know I am, but I know that I've been able to provide actionable feedback on a majority of the stories, which is why it's my personal belief. There's no bad stories. There's just stories that have opportunities. So I think it's just framing the conversation in a way that helps the writer and helps the author with their development.
Yeah, and I'm not as nice as Kaufman, but I don't think I'm ever gonna pick up any of these books and go, "I hated it. It sucked. Like it was the book. It was
Garbage,
never."
fire,
Yeah,
burn.
like why pick another career? I'm never gonna be like that. Like it's never gonna be that bad. But the worst thing I will probably ever say is I'm not your reader.
What I forgot who was the was it America's Got Talent or one of those shows where there's like the one asshole judge who everybody knows
Simon
him from
Cowell,
Simon
American
Cowell. Like,
Idol, Simon
is
Cowell.
that
Yeah,
are we gonna have like a Simon Cowell in here? Like Courtney's like, pick a different career.
yeah. No, it's not. It's never gonna be that harsh. Okay.
You just have me. I'll be like, yeah, I love everything. It's so cute. Write more.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that was absolutely a great question because I'm sure that's on writers' minds in the community. So, without further ado, let me bring up the Read Now Book Club member link. Courtney, if you want to go over this real fast, I know I dropped it in the chat and I already saw a couple submissions come through. But what's the point of this submission link?
Okay, so we have this submission form just basically so that we can get a head count to let authors know who submit. How many books are going to be free copies, like how many downloads they could possibly receive just from our community, how many reviews they can expect to get from our community, and just so that we can have like an easy way to contact you about book club stuff if needed and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm. And I think it also incentivizes like the things like you said with reviews. It incentivizes the things that we really want to help support each other with, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, it's not an extensive like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Tell
there's
me
only
your story.
like 5 or 6 questions. It's nothing.
Yeah,
It's a
it's just
pretty simple ask.
You just sell
Yeah.
your soul at the end.
Yeah,
Exactly,
please.
right? So this is on the next page. Do you agree to sell your soul to Read Now in
Yeah.
perpetuity?
Jezebel needs some new victims.
Signed by Jezebel.
Yeah, Jezebel was not a part of making this form.
She was not, but she might be involved in the contractual obligations apparently.
Right.
Oh
So-
man.
No, it's just getting us a place to like touch base with you if you're not a part of the Discord, if you want to be a part of the Discord, things like that. Like just little information like that. And also the last question. What do you want to get out of this? Like what so that if I mean this is our first month, let us get out all the kinks, but like what do you want to get out of the book club? Like how can it better serve the community? Because that's really what this is for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And this also gives us, like Courtney said, it's the head count, right? So it gives us an idea of who's going to be actively reading the books with us. So that way we can do more of what's working and then we'll make adjustments over time. Absolutely. Oh my God. Valerie's comment cracked me up. Joke's on you. This ginger doesn't have a soul.
And answer the Mass Toasters question,
Yeah.
what
Yep.
we went over is that the co-hosts will choose the genre, and so it will be switching every single month. We will not do the same genre 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So here's
I think
this.
that's why we put it in our hands to like
Mhm.
better have control over that so that it doesn't
Exactly. Mhm.
become that.
Yeah.
And we're
and
all
we-
different genres, so don't worry, Mass Toaster, you're not reading romance every month.
Yes, it will not be romance. We'll definitely make sure to alternate between genres. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many different genres are there that we can alternate between.
Well, I mean, if we throw in sub-genres, it can get quite
Mhm.
extensive.
It could. I feel like it will probably be easiest keeping it as overarching genres, and then people can just suggest books that are within a subgenre. Will probably be easiest. I think so.
Yeah.
hmm
Well, then would you
So
say that this is fantasy?
what was it?
Would you say that this or March will be fantasy then?
Or is it paranormal fantasy?
Normal
Or like
fantasy.
Yeah, like how
genre?
specific are you getting with genres?
I kind of consider that like paranormal, supernatural, like its own genre, I guess. But I get because fantasy is going to be more distinctive as medieval type setting, maybe dragons, fairy. Because I wouldn't really consider this like fantasy, like the classic
High,
fantasy.
high
I consider it
fantasy.
supernatural, paranormal.
Okay.
hmm But I mean, that's there. I think there's always going to be room for, of course, maybe interpretation a little bit. And I think as we decide the genres, we'll try to be as open and learning through this process as we go.
Yeah.
hmm And definitely for those of you involved. So once again, like this is a brand new community event we're doing. Since this is the first month we're doing it, we'll see how it goes. And then if there's things that we feel like, yeah, we should adjust it like this, we'll make sure to get everyone's feedback later in the month once we've gone through the first full month of the Read Now Book Club. So, Mass Jester, that's a really good question. And let's see. Penumbra, you're like, I will be offering books free for HRCYED 2.0 reading challenges. So I'll post the free days in the Right Now Discord. Awesome. And this is also a reminder for anybody who's not in the Right Now Discord. Make sure to go join, linked down in the YouTube description down below. So that way you'll see all the announcements, especially for the book club, which is very, very important. And
And there's 12 months in the year, Toaster. We got this.
I know. I see a couple of you guys are talking about that, right? So penumbras like paranormal horror and paranormal romance are very different things.
So
And it's yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting because I think yeah, I mean I don't know, that's something good to think about, right? Because a horror versus a romance are romance genre, horror genre are two different genres. But then a
I like
cross would be
them.
paranormal horror, paranormal romance. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, we know which one is Laura's favorite. I know, Mast is like sci-fi, fantasy, drama, action, romance, mystery, suspense. So there are quite a few genres to choose from.
I
And
pretty much have all of them in my first novel. Like all those that she listed, they're all in there.
and I mean, I guess the more
Adrian might
genres.
riot. Nobody suggests his book.
Oh no, I'm just I just like talking about it, that's all.
Nobody's allowed to suggest Adrian's book anymore.
That's been vetoed.
He's been timed out.
First month. That didn't take long at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of interesting because then something we'll have to think through is like, okay, well, if a book is different genres, how do we categorize the different genres in a way that still feels fair? I think that'll probably be a little bit of a learning experience on our end, but I think we know with certainty that a horror book is scary and a romance book is probably not scary for the same reasons.
Hey, I don't
I
know.
don't want to know what one of my whips is.
what one of your what was that?
One of my wits. It is called Nothing So Deadly as Love, and it is a romance between two serial killers are courting each other by giving trophies of their
Ooh,
kills.
I love that. So then that's is
So-
that like horror romance? Is that like gothic romance? What genre is that?
Arc reader.
I don't know.
Laura, you got
I
an arc
just
read
wanted
already.
a
Send
serial
me
killer
that.
romance where they were both on equal footing.
I love serial killers. send me that,
You're
please.
gonna, yeah, you're gonna have to drop that rec in the
I'm
book
so
club that's
excited.
already on Discord.
That's month 2. Let's do that one month 2.
I haven't even finished the first draft.
Get on it.
We haven't finished the
Get on it.
first month. All right, Adrian's already decided. We're like, all right, guys, we already got April decided.
Yeah, I'm going full dictator and just choosing the book for the
Adrian's
second
like,
month.
all right, I've already mapped out all 12 months for you guys. This is what we'll be doing.
Don't forget to send the spreadsheet over.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
So I am very, very excited about this. I think we have some really great opportunities here to really be able to read more books with the community. How are you guys feeling about all of it?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how everybody enjoys it. I'm excited to see how, like, what we all learn from each other and how we all grow, and how the Saturday critique shows are just going to get better because we're all building off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie.
Laura's book can be October.
Oh gosh.
I think the genres should go with the months of the year too.
That's
I
fair.
completely
My
agree with
only
you. I think
published
that-
book is a horror anthology collection, so I don't know if it counts.
Yeah. But I think that they should also go with the Right Now, whatever Right Now's doing. I think the Read Now should bounce off of it. Like we have the Romanticy. I think
We
we
are
should
right.
have
So then, would it
something that goes
then
with
make
that like
sense,
right before
right?
to get people ready.
Seeing
Right,
as how
so that-
we choose the genre for each month, like that's that's something that we can always bounce back
Exactly,
and forth
right. And then it's
choose
like
it.
when we
Yeah.
when we are in October, does that mean like, okay, well, horror thriller is probably the
I think
vibe
it's
in
kind of a
October.
given.
If
Yeah.
we're in December, what is the
But
vibe
there's
for
also
December?
like Summerween.
Romance.
Right?
There's so many different versions of Halloween
There
all throughout the
absolutely,
year.
right?
Look, here's the thing. What it means is October is clearly a month where the book will be a horror book. That does not mean that there will not be other horror books throughout the year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It just means that
Everybody
it's
already
guaranteed
wants
one
horror
for
for next month.
October. Just like it's probably going to be a romance book in February or whatever next year because of Valentine's Day. But it doesn't mean there won't be other romance books throughout
Well,
the
it
year.
also doesn't mean that it can't be like your serial killers finding love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's subcategories that will move a book into
Mm-hmm.
All
that
right, I
will
need
move
that
horror
book.
into every month of the year. There's
Mhm.
subcategories that can do that.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
all based off the suggestions that we get, and we all know that Laura's going to pick a horror as her vote every single time.
No,
Every
not
vote
every
Laura will be
time.
the horror, and Adrian will be all genres.
To
Adrian
be
will be like, this one,
fair,
this one, this one.
in December, I did read The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it was a romantic comedy thing.
Yeah, no, I've heard about that one. Was it good?
It was so good.
I have this on the
Ooh.
TBR.
Sally's Lament.
Ooh,
Now,
that
this
looks
one
really
is
cool.
a romance between the Prince of Halloween and the Prince of Christmas, and the shenanigans of a marriage arrangement between Christmas and Easter, and it's just all sorts of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh man, I am so stoked. So like what we know for certain is March we're starting off with paranormal, supernatural fantasy, paranormal fantasy, paranormal. And we'll determine what April will look like. We'll make sure to announce the genre that we think works. Maybe we'll do a genre that has some subgenre options, or we'll talk through as a team. We'll talk through it. So make sure so that way everyone here in the community has different options that they can suggest. Because as always, we want this to be accessible.
I accept Krampus. Yes.
Krampus all the way.
Every single month, Laura's just going to recommend crime and horror. And
Talk about a new experience for me, a Krampus book. Okay, that'll be good.
All right, guys. In April, we're going to be doing Christmas miracles. Oh
Madness.
man.
Madness.
Easter Bunny horror.
Let's see. I know we have some good
I
chat.
agree with you.
We have some good chat here in the community. It sounds like Penumbra is like maybe some Christmas cozy romances in July. Because we're all baking need to be thinking about the snow when it's 1,000,000,000 degrees outside. Could totally do that. Calvin's like, I'll be
Depending on where you
curious
live.
when we do sci-fi. You and me both, my friend. You and
Yeah.
me both.
I
I know there's a lot of sci-fi buffs. From what I've seen in the community, what's interesting is even though I think the majority of the community, I think the highest genre is a mix of romance writers and sci-fi and fantasy tends to be a mix. The one genre that people will stay to read the longest is always horror and thriller. For some reason, anything that has a mystery, people stick around for longer. And that's
makes sense.
based off statistics and your guys' viewing habits. So for
Not
some reason,
horror
everyone likes horror.
usually. We're a harder sell. People are
Well,
usually
it's something
like,
about
I've
it's the
sworn off
mystery.
horror.
It's the mystery aspect of it, and a lot of the time, horror is usually leading with mystery. So maybe just like maybe that's like more mystery thriller suspense, but
Yeah, well, I'm with Calvin about being curious about when we do sci-fi because I read a lot of fantasy. I watch a lot of sci-fi movies, but I don't
Mhm.
read a lot of sci-fi books. I read one or two already this year that I'm like dipping my toe into reading more of that because I'd love to write the genre, but I'm not a huge fan of reading a lot of it
Mhm.
all the time. So I'm looking forward to diving into some like weird sci-fi, something that I've never read anything like that. I'm game. I'm
Yeah,
game.
yeah, I'm kind of similar with that. I've watched definitely a lot of sci-fi, but I haven't
Yeah.
read as much. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely really open to that. And let's see. I know Maggie, like August can be the dystopia because it's the hottest and feels like the dystopia to every child heading back to school. For all the students out there. You're like, wow, I'd much rather be in a dystopian society right now. Oof.
It is
Mass
a
toasters.
dystopian society. What are you talking about?
What was that?
It already is a dystopian.
You're like, we're going to explore an even better dystopian society than the one we're currently living in. Let's see. And then, of course, no April Fool's pranks for the April book choice. Or will there be an April Fool's? So does that mean April is comedy? I don't know. We'll have to think through what options make sense
Good
for
question.
April, and we'll definitely let you guys know. We'll probably make the genre announcement within 1 to 2 weeks of the end of March, so that way there's time for everyone to vote or to suggest books and then vote. So very, very great questions.
The
And
genre
then
should for April should be Messiah characters. Books with Messiah characters that like die and come back to life.
Gaslight.
That's a whole
So horror.
subgenre. Yeah, it's a whole subgenre.
Necromancy.
so April's going to be religious,
Well, that's the
fiction.
thing. Like even like Dune, you could pitch for it. Obviously, not in this book club, but the point is that like it's a Messiah character, right? Like this,
Mhm.
like oh, he's foretold or whatever. So like it could be like a whole genre of books is books
Mhm.
with Messiah characters.
Exactly. Oh
Hey, Calvin,
man.
is your book done yet with your Adam and Eve characters? That
Oh yeah, I guess
fits.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Calvin was writing a Adam Eve type of book. Absolutely. And then I know Eva,
Chosen
you
one.
said you came in late. Yes, we just launched the Read Now book club. I would definitely suggest checking out the replay of this stream, and you'll be able to kind of see all the details that we've
A
talked
lot of
about.
information.
All of the things, all of the stats. And then let's see. So there was an
Chosen
off top
ones. That's what I
there was
meant.
an off-topic question that I wanted to address really quick. Um, ML asked, when do we need to change our Right Now membership for March changes? So I'm not diving into it too much today because I really wanted to focus on the book club. But for everyone in the community who knows, anyone who is a YouTube channel member, we've had it since what, November, December, January. So we've had it about 3 to 4 months. And I've had it at the $5 tier. Starting March 1st, which is this Saturday, I will be launching the $10 tier. Um, Laura, Adrian, do you guys do any do you do channel membership on your channels?
No.
No, yeah.
I am not at a point yet where they let me do such things.
You'll get there. It was such a push for me, and I know it became an option because I'm going hard and doing it every day. So one of the things that we launched with the channel membership, for those of you who've been involved, we did the critique group, which was a super cool thing. I tried it out at the $5 tier. Starting March 1st, that's when I will launch the $10 tier, which will
Roy.
be for the critique group. And then the $5 tier is going to be for access to an accountability group. So that's going to start officially March 1st, which is this Saturday. So great question, ML. It will start March 1st. I will probably be talking about it more in depth on next Monday's stream. So great question. Wanted to make sure to touch upon that. Let's see. Any more questions about the book club? I was like, yeah, guys, if you have anything else that comes to mind, definitely drop it in the chat. We would love to hear from you. My fellow co-hosts, what
Do we have a date yet for the final stream for the wrap up that people need to have it read by?
Great. That's an excellent question. So I think so I know we have what's this? I was like, I'll just have this take over the screen. Actually, let's go back to this layout real fast. So I know we have this as the overall how it works. Maybe what we'll do is we'll create like a little calendar of when the things are happening for the March. For the March calendar. I know that our stream, we are going to aim for it to be the last month or the last weekend of the month, I believe, is what we agreed upon, which the last weekend of the month is the 29th and the 30th. So I believe it will probably be March 29th. So like that last Saturday, probably. So I imagine everyone will need to have it read by the 29th. I mean, maybe we can open up the Discord conversation like a couple of days before, that week before, for the non-spoiler version of it for people who finished it already. But yeah, that was a good question.
Do we want to drop the author interview date?
Yes. So the author interview date will also be the middle of the month. I believe that we set that.
March
Courtney,
15th.
we set that for March 15th, right? Yeah, Saturday, March 15th. Yes. So the author interview date will be Saturday, March 15th. For those who are part of the YouTube channel membership critique group, with the change to the $10 tier, the date for the critique group is going to be adjusted, and it's going to be based on everyone's schedule. So I'm going to give everybody the option to vote on the day that works best for their schedule. Because I think since people are paying a little bit more money for it, I need to try to create a little bit more flexibility. So it might not happen on the 15th every month, but it'll be based on the critique group members who plan on showing up to it. So, but yeah, the interview with author ML Claxon will be on Saturday, March 15th. And then the live Read Now book discussion to talk about Dead Caster will be on Saturday, March 29th. We'll, of course, advertise this again. You guys will see, I'm sure, more ads the closer we get throughout the month of March. We'll launch the Discord for the book club officially this Saturday, and we'll probably be posting updates in the Discord, and definitely make sure you guys come back to the Monday update streams, and we'll touch upon the book club on some of the update streams. So good questions. Anything else come to mind?
I would just say if any questions come to mind, we're all on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah,
can shoot and give us a message.
Thanks so much, Mass. Do not forget to like and subscribe. So I thank you all, everyone, for joining us today. I've been so excited and thinking through this Read Now book club for a couple months since I announced it back in December at the end of the Right Now-a-thon. So yeah, I think that's everything that I got for today. Everyone, thank you all for joining us. I am Kaufman. It's been awesome. And these are my co-hosts.
I'm Courtney.
Adrian.
Laura.
And we'll catch you guys on the next stream.
Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.